It's 10 o'clock. I was up around 8. I'm just making myself a smoothie. Should there be fireworks tonight? It's what? 12? Well, there's either some kind of fireworks outside or some kind of bombing attack. I'm gonna take Oxum's razor and assume that it's fireworks. Um, those look, they sound a little intense for fireworks. And I don't know why there would be fireworks tonight. Let me look that up before I finish my smoothie here. Yes, the Henry Ford Hospital over in Detroit. Hey, why don't I go check them out, see if I can see them? Ridiculously nice out for this time of year. It's like 10 degrees. There should be quite a bit of snow on the ground. It looks like I just missed them, but you can see them up there for a few seconds there. Where's the Henry Ford Hospital? I think it's probably in. Um, oh, there's some. Certainly hear them, that's for sure. Anyways, it doesn't look like I'm going to see them, or much of them, anyways. Not really such a big deal. We're just concerned about what the noise was. I wouldn't really expect anybody to hit Windsor for really any reason at all. There's a couple of old car factories here. That's about it. Lots of stray cats. It's not exactly a strategic location, but controlling the Detroit River, you can see a few up there, would actually be strategic. For who? That's another question. For us, maybe. Canadian invasion of America. I saw that movie. Not likely though. Can't think of any reason at this particular moment why the United States would want to invade us, but is Detroit a terrorist target? I don't know. I think there was certainly a time, a few decades ago, where it would have been. I don't really think there's like lightning. I don't really think there's enough industry there at the moment for it to be very strategic. But it would certainly be on the long list, anyways. Anyways, it looks like I'm not getting anything of any value out of that, so I'm just gonna turn my camera off. Yeah, it's certainly loud. Jeez. Henry getting out of the grave? But they come stomping around? Marshmallow Man? Ghostbusters? What I wanted to say was the dogs in the neighborhood were just freaking out. Dogs hate fireworks. If you've ever had a dog, they go bonkers when the fireworks start going off. I guess when it got really loud, they started cowering. But for a few seconds there, they were barking up the neighborhood. And this is the last staple of my diet, and probably the most important one. I've gone weeks eating nothing but this. So underneath, I have a bagel. It's been split in half. So there's the two sides of the bagel there. It was toasted. When it came out of the toaster, I put mayonnaise on it directly, so it gets a little bit melted. Not really melted, of course. You don't want your mayonnaise to be too melted. That would be disgusting. But just a little bit. On top of the mayonnaise, there's cheese. On top of the cheese, and the cheese is pretty, I don't know if you can see, but it pretty much covers the whole bagel. I lay it down in slices. Maybe I'll take another shot of it next time I make it. And then on top of the cheese, there is tomatoes. It is just a tomato sliced. Hot sauce, good old hot sauce, and salt and pepper. Together, the tomato and the hot sauce gives it that really tangy, acidic taste. And then with the salt and pepper, I mean, there are few things as delicious in this world as a tomato with salt and pepper on it. gotta be one of the best uh, things that there is out there. So there's that. Again, this might seem like it's very high in fat, and if you were to eat that as a part of your meal process, if you had 3 meals a day and that was two of them, that would be probably a problem. But that's all I'm eating today. A bagel, some mayonnaise, a tomato, and some cheese. That's it. And as it is, I'm getting everything I really need out of that. There's no protein, or the amount of protein in the bagel is very small, anyways. But one does not need to have protein every day either. So that's a good. So long as you're getting protein from other sources, that's a pretty good complete meal for the day. And I'm gonna go eat it. I'm out of rhubarb, so I'll be switching to the pineapple tomorrow. I have to say that that looks more promising. Um, the pineapple is, I'm a fan of the pineapple. It's just that it ends up kind of woody when you mix it up. That's the main reason I stopped with it. And on top of that, when you buy pineapple, it's I mean, if you get it fresh, it's obviously a lot better. But when you buy in a can, it's just full of like sugar, and these are freeze or flash frozen, and they're nice little chunks like that. So um, I think this looks promising. We'll see what it's like tomorrow. I'm kind of tempted almost to have a piece now, but I'm not going to. These are also big strawberries, or bigger strawberries. This is the other brand. Um, I would really rather buy my strawberries fresh, like really honestly, but they're climbing out of my price range. They're still cheap when you buy them frozen. Um, I think partly the difference is that frozen ones are from Mexico, and the fresh ones are from California. So the labor's the same, but the management costs are higher in California. I'd really love to see someone down the street grow them. Strawberries are the kind of thing that, I mean, if I was going to grow something indoors, strawberries are what I would grow indoors. And it's something that, I mean, if I need my fruit. If fruit is going to climb unreasonably expensive, then strawberries are the kind of thing that I'll grow inside. Strawberries and tomatoes, I might be thinking about it, depending on how high inflation gets in the next couple of weeks. With the TPP coming up, at least, well, what I'm hoping is what we see is that the dollar stay low. That acts as a tariff, and the tariff stimulates local production. Because I mean that's the fruit is really my only weak point regarding carbon emissions. I'm very low carbon in every other way. I walk everywhere, but humans need fruit, and I'm not going to not eat fruit, so that somebody in India cannot drown. I think I do my part very well. But the one thing that I need to use transportation costs regarding is fruit at the moment because the infrastructure here does not exist. I can agitate for better infrastructure here, but it's not going to be at the expense of my health. Sorry. But I mean, I would do it if the costs get to a certain point. Strawberries, tomatoes. I don't know if I can grow bananas in here. I think I can grow enough strawberries and enough tomatoes to feed me, but bananas are another question. Anyways, that looks delicious. I gotta put it in the freezer, or most of it in the freezer, one of them in the fridge, and wait for tomorrow. Try it. It's about 3 a.m. Still quite mild. Gorgeous. Hopefully there's no cougars lurking around here. I think I'll be okay. If you listen within a few minutes, you will hear what I believe is a foghorn. Welcome to the 19th century, if that. I guess there's somebody going through the Detroit Harbor there. Though that almost sounds pitched. It is foggy. It's been foggy for the better part of the last couple of weeks. Um, I guess it's the unusual warmth here. Anyways, foghorns at 3 o'clock in the morning, it's not something you hear here every day. Lights are coming on. Nuclear attack or what? I hope it's not a nuclear. I hope it's a foghorn and not a nuclear attack. I don't know what the setup for a nuclear attack around here would be, to be honest with you. Probably shouldn't be out having a smoke. Anyways, I've got 24 hours left to figure this out. I haven't sat down and listened to anything yet. I am pretty sure that swapping out the cord helped with the interference. Although I was going over a vlog yesterday, I just went over the vlog that I just uploaded, and it does seem as though I was getting it flat before. So if I'm getting interference still, I'm more or less left to conclude that it's something else. Yeah, it's like a giant tuba. I should sample that, pitch it. I'll be quiet for a little bit. Get a nice sound of it. If I don't have an answer for this by this time tomorrow, I'm aborting. I'll do my compost run and get out of this floating purgatory. If it was a nuclear attack, it would be so unexpected, nobody would even know. Nobody under 40 has grown up with any awareness of a nuclear attack or the possibility of it. I never had to sit underneath my desk at school or anything like that. Anyways, I'm going ahead. Okay, so I'm quite certain that I am stable at this point, which is great. I don't know if the primary thing that happened was that I swapped the power cord out, if it's because I rearranged some of the cords in the back, or if it's because some other source has turned itself off. But I have just about come to the conclusion that I can start mixing. And if something arises that recreates a problem, then I'll have no option but to conclude that it's coming from outside the apartment. Um, in the back of my mind, I am kind of thinking that something got turned off. Um, Somebody went away for the weekend. Maybe it's a Sunday morning, something like that. But regardless, I think I should take advantage of the situation and plow myself through a couple of the tracks. So as it stands right now, I plan on getting some work done today. Hopefully, I hit a manic stage. Hopefully, I'm up for quite a while as I push forward. If anything, it seems to be that the lows are a little bit muted, which is unusual. For the whole time, the problem was the highs were fading. So I'm not getting fading. It doesn't sound like I'm getting any interference. The one thing I have to check is I did all of my testing with my headphones in the mixer, um, and it was just I tested with the receiver on and with the receiver turning up slowly, um, but because I was thinking still part of the problem might be the field generated by the phones. So I started off with the volume very low and I slowly turned it up, kind of thing. So the last thing I need to do when I come back after a cigarette will be to test it out of the receiver with the volume low, and I'll have to slowly turn it up, kind of thing, until I get to my sweet spot. And I'll have to let it sit there for a little bit to make sure. But right now, I think I'm good to go. I can't claim I know why yet. I will keep everything off, all the lights off, speakers, all that kind of stuff. I'll keep that off for the next little bit until I get this done. And then once it's done, I'll slowly start turning things back on again on a need-to-do basis until it comes back up. So yeah, I do need to ground it. That was something that changed. Grounding it all in the same power cord seemed to be necessary. Meaning it does look like perhaps that power cord on the side is damaged. I'll want to avoid that for the time being. But whatever interference, whether it was something floating around in the back or whether it was the power cord or whatever, is gone for now. And if it comes back, it can't be from in here. So I'll have to go knocking on doors and figure out what the hell. But for right now, I'm good to go. I'm excited about it. And I'll get some work done today. Great. Last step, hopefully. Um, this RCA wire was connecting the receiver to the mixer. I just wasn't getting the same sound out of it. It was like I was getting some like reverb out of it. I don't know what or why, but I swapped it out with some just cheapy RCA cables, and it seems to be getting a better sound. Um, I don't know what the problem with these might be. Um, it could be that the signal's a little weak, or it's picking something up, or I don't know what. These are obviously higher quality cables, and what it's doing may actually be by design, but I mean, I need it to sound right, so I'll see if that turns into a magnet, but I mean, I think that's probably the last thing I needed to do. I did swap um, the receiver around in different outlets and whatnot, and it really didn't seem to make much of a difference at all. I think the big thing was making sure that the computer and the mixer were in the same one, and the rest of it seems to have resulted from that. So I'm still not sure what the magnet was, or if it was anything in here at all, but I'm that immediately made a difference. I'm swapping that out. So I'm gonna go with that, and got another hour or so of listening before I can move into the track by track phase, but the immediate response to this was that it sounds the same out of the mixer as it does out of the receiver, which is what I want, so hopefully that's enough. Slightly new approach. I know I'm stable out the back here through the mixer, so I've just taken the receiver right out. The fact is, it always sounds a little different. And right now, that really cannot be my focus. My focus right now needs to be finishing this project and getting my life back. I know that for the last little while, not just with this project, but with a number of the things I was doing, I had bypassed the receiver. I think that at the end of the day, I may be best off investing in a new receiver. Or perhaps exploring the best way to get the out of the mixer. The out from the audio card, when it was working, it seemed clean. But it was always a little different out of the mixer. So, I'm not worrying about that right now. What I need to be focusing on right now is just finishing this, doing all the things I need to do afterwards, and moving on. Taking it out is just to avoid it from becoming a magnet. And I'll be doing all my mixing through the directly to the mixer from here. That said, I do believe I'm completely stable. It sounds good. It sounded good all night. So I'm gonna get right into the mixing. Pretty much now. What time is it? It's about 6. It's about 6:30. So, hopefully, if all is well, the next series of updates will be me finishing or finalizing track after track throughout the course of the morning. I think I can probably get through the bulk of it by this afternoon, and if I'm going well, I'm sure I'll get that burst of manic energy, and I'll be awake for a bit. I'm out of bananas, which is something that I don't like, but if the day is long enough, hopefully I can put off going grocery shopping until tomorrow. I'm to it. So it's 20 after 8, and while I can't state much else with much certainty, I can state that the interference is back, although it's nowhere near as bad. I'm currently checking to see if I may have generated it myself through the phones by listening to it over and over again on low volume. What that means is I've skipped the second track for now, but I am going to finalize the third track. That is, if God does exist, then it is sadistic and must be destroyed. The first one was already long finalized. That's terrorism is used to restrict civil liberties. The thing about this track is, I wasn't going to modify it anyways, but it is also the one that I've done a lot of. I am a little bit more familiar with this one than I am with some of the other ones, in terms of what I know it's supposed to sound like. And I keep saying this, but like the difference between what I know it sounds like in my head and what it actually sounds like on disc. And I know that I know what it actually sounds like on disc. And I know that there's a lot of interference coming out. Now, that said, it's also one of the noisiest tracks. There's a lot of distortion in the guitars, and there's a lot. It's itself played over itself backwards. So there's quite a bit of just noise in the track. Something else I'm wondering then. If I'm generating the noise with the headphones, does the nature of the sound make any difference? Is the fact that every time I listen to it, I turn it on, with actually 4 songs in a row that have very noisy. Um, I mean, the distortion was coming out, or it sounds like there's interference in the distortion. And then, I mean, it's all digital distortion. It was from 1998, all of it. It was recorded with a very cheap multi-effects pedal onto a tape, and then sent from a tape into the back of the machine. Um, about a year ago. I've been through this, and I'll go through this again later. But um, so considering there's all this noise there, and then I'm taking it and I'm boosting the high frequencies. Am I like is that something that would happen if I put specific frequencies through a set of headphones? Is that going to make the interference worse, just by the nature of what I'm listening to? Um, I think that strikes me as it strikes me as plausible. It's theoretically possible. If you generate interference patterns, then it would interfere. But it strikes me as um, maybe a little bit, well, as I've said before, whatever is happening here is very unlikely. Um, if I can get through these couple of tracks and just do testing with the next bunch, that's something I want to test. For right now, what I'm doing is I'm listening to it at low volume, but I am closing the third track. The reason the second one is taking so long is because I have 2 versions of it. I have a version of it that was done way back in June, or the end of June, or the beginning of July, or something like that. And then I have a version that I redid a few weeks ago. And what I keep wanting to do is I keep wanting to ensure that the new version really does sound better than the old version, but I can never get to a conclusion because I can never be certain that what I'm listening to is actually what it sounds like. Um, so I'm just stuck in place. I just keep listening to it over and over and over again, thinking that doesn't sound right, that doesn't sound right. Um, I think that getting or listening to it at low volume repeatedly here should hopefully get whatever I. At the very least, I think it should get me closer to it. So, like I said, I'm closing the third track. When I come back, I'm gonna listen to it a bunch more times and be certain that it's at least close, and that at least the only thing that's wrong is the interference. Then go back and do the same thing. But I think that what I'm gonna have to determine for the bulk of these tracks at the beginning of the sequence, anyways, is that I can't monitor them down here at the moment. There's too much noise in the air. There's not really anything I can do about it. I'm gonna have to figure this out tomorrow or the next day when I go grocery shopping. I'm gonna have to drop it all to MP3 and listen to it when I'm walking, and that's gonna be what is going to tell me whether it's done or not. Um, in fact, if I'm not able to get a good sound out of this, then I will do that grocery shopping today. I'm just about at the end of my stick here with this. As I say, it sounded great this morning, but I there really seems to be no reason to me to think that anything has changed in this room. If the interference is back, it's because somebody turned a device on upstairs or something. So I'm going to do that walking to be sure, but and to be testing here to make sure that I'm not generating it myself. But I'm pretty much at the point where I have concluded that the reason it was better yesterday was because something got turned off, and the reason that it went to shit this morning is because whatever got turned off yesterday got turned back on this morning. Um, but I still need to do a little bit of testing on that to convince myself of it. for the moment, the third track is closed. The second is tentatively closed. I have some more listening to do on both of them, but I'm moving on to the fourth track to see what happens. So I did what was really the only thing left to do. I disconnected everything. Um, Everything on this side is disconnected on that side. The drum kit is disassembled. Well, or at least the wires are. The pod's out. All the guitar cords are off. Everything's out of the mixer. Just totally disassembled. The only extra power cords are taken out. That power cord has 3 ends in it. The monitor, the computer, and the mixer. And the only thing else that's connected is just the straight power. So, if this isn't functional, then whatever interference I'm getting cannot be coming from this unit. Or at least cannot in a way that I can still work. Like, this is the absolute minimum amount that I need to actually do anything with. If it does work, I don't need any of this for the next couple of days to finish mixing this with. But it's going to be a very careful process to put it back together. I suppose it's the kind of thing that you can do when you're quitting smoking. I suppose it's see, even if it was all of this mess, it would have to have been triggered by something else, right? So I could see if there was, if maybe the power in the back is funny, and it was turning the drum kit into a magnet or something, like something like that. But it's everything I'm doing right now is grasping at straws because I can't find an answer. I can't really find anything that makes sense. It works for a few hours and it stops working. I can't even blame it on the weather because the weather's been the same. It did get a little wet. Wasn't wet for a long time, but it's still wet, so nothing changed. I mean, I had to do this. I didn't really have any other option, but it's really like, if this doesn't do it, then I got nothing left to do. Besides go get some groceries and find a sufficient place on the wall to bash my face in. It's 10:30, and I am still getting shit in the signal. So I give up for now. I can't continue to do this forever. This gives me an opportunity. I took everything apart. I'm going to take everything out of the room. Clean the place down, like, from top to bottom. And then kind of start bringing things in one at a time. I'm going to clean my tower out, and I'm actually going to strip the tower down, and kind of go from there. But I mean, I need to quit smoking. I need to do laundry. I need to take a shower. I need to stop obsessing over this, because it's clear that the solution, it sounded great this morning. So whatever it is, doesn't seem to be under my control. I'm compressing the tracks. I'm going to move them over to my MP3 player. I'm going to see what they sound like on there. I may surprise myself, but I think it's pretty clear that they're not going to sound the way that they sound right now. So that's the best control I have. I'm going to go do groceries today. I need to pick up my pills for this month. I'm going to come home. I'm going to clean. I'm going to, do laundry, take a shower, all these kind of things. So this is on hold for the unforeseeable future. It's not disappointing. It's downright depressing. But I don't have another answer, and I don't know what else to do besides move on. Um, but if I'm going to move out of here, I need to quit smoking first. There's not any way I can save up enough money to move out of here while I'm smoking. So that's what I'm going to have to be planning to do right now. I don't I don't have any other option. Um, I mean, if I'm lucky, some solution will appear. But I see no obvious answer besides environmental noise and the idea that I'm going to convince my neighbors to not do whatever they're doing that's making the noise is not. I mean, I thought about it obviously, but I mean, I'm not even gonna bother. If I can't fix the signal down here, I'm just gonna save up and move out. I don't want to fight with my neighbors over noise. So that's the end of that. So that's what I'm going to be planning to do at the moment. All I'm actually going to get today are bananas. I'm going to leave the rest of it for when I do the compost run in a few days. But I'm going to take a bit of a walk just because I want to listen. That's the real reason I'm going today, is to listen. Otherwise, I'd probably just accept some bananas. If I can't get a good answer of this for this tomorrow, I will do the compost run in the morning. But I need to check the other outlets. There is a possibility that that outlet is fucked. So I can check that outlet, and I can check the outlets in the other rooms, and there's outlets over there, and etc. If I arrive at the conclusion that that outlet is fucked, and I mean, I'm gonna have to listen to it for quite a while before I come to that conclusion. But if I do come to that conclusion, what I could always do is switch rooms. There's really no intrinsic reason why that has to be the music room and that has to be the bedroom. If that outlet doesn't work, I'll have to switch. And again, that's a decent quitting smoking project. But right now, I need to go get some bananas, listen to the songs. I may learn when I listen to the songs as I'm walking that they sound the same as they do in here anyways. That would be very shocking to me, considering that I am able to get a good sound out of here, but and it really sounds like interference. Once you become cognizant of it, you start to realize it, right? So once I became aware that it was interference, I could hear it as interference. But regardless, I need to hear what they sound like through the phones as I'm walking, as I get out of this space. That's the idea, right? If there's interference in this space and they get me out of this space, let me hear it, and make a conclusion I'll have a more informed conclusion to make afterwards. So that's the idea, and the bananas are just an excuse to take a walk, really. I'll need to do some more grocery shopping next week, but for right now, all I really need are bananas.